You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we are dealing with a bona fide, a certified coward. And by coward, I mean somebody that will not own up to what I believe happened here. And very early on, in fact, the morning of the leak, Friday night, Caitlin Clark went berserk, 30 points, whatever it was, 8, 6, 4, put up this incredible stat line. And I get up the next morning to make a reaction video on that, and it's leaked out that she didn't make Team USA. And so immediately I took to X and I tweeted out, isn't it sort of odd that the Minnesota Lynx coach was pissing and moaning and bitching that Caitlin Clark was getting so much attention, wanting to say the W is more than one player, blah, 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 and she's made multiple shots at Caitlin. I said, don't we find this odd that she is the coach of Team USA, and now Caitlin Clark has not made this team? All right, once again, the Minnesota Lynx coach is part of the activist community. Just so happens she's not straight, like Caitlin Clark. And I think there's animosity there in those kind of situations. Well, Cheryl Reeve, the Minnesota Lynx coach, she won't comment on this. Because USA Today, Kristen Brennan, who covers this Olympic Team USA team, she knows about these tweets that we was talking about and these comments, so she tried to get the coach in USA Basketball to answer for it. And they refused to say anything. I'm just keeping it real. Vendetta is what it looks like. And we heard Becky Hammond's ridiculous remarks. Well, Cheryl Reeve's right there with them. We're worried in talking about players that can't stand Caitlin Clark. There's coaches jealous of her. Sometimes I wonder if Cheryl Reeve is one of them. The way she draws up offense and the way she runs that basketball team for the Fever. I don't think these coaches and players like being criticized either. I think that's part of it. Well, look, you wanted more attention in the league, then I don't know what to tell you. You're going to, as more eyeballs get added, people are going to pay attention and start wanting people held accountable for different things, like the way a team plays. Yeah, or comments you make like this. Last month, as Cheryl Reeve was preparing for her role as head coach of the 2024 U.S. Olympic women's basketball team, she was also posting on X about the first preseason game for the WNBA team she coaches, the Lynx. Specifically, she was telling her followers where and how to keep track of the game since it was not being televised like the first preseason game of another WNBA team, the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's new team. In her post, Reeve chose to single out the 22-year-old Clark as she discussed the decision to televise one game rather than both. With USA Basketball in the midst of evaluating Clark and other candidates for the women's team that would go to Paris this summer, Reeve posted 2 comments on X on May 3rd referring to the popular rookie. She first reposted a WNBA post promoting Indiana's upcoming game with Dallas. And this is what she said, quote, also in action tonight at Minnesota Lynx versus at Chicago Sky. Though fans won't be able to watch it, Lynx fans can go to the Lynx app to follow via play-by-play. Or if you're in the market, come to the game as we start the season off right. She then added 2 hashtags to her post. Hashtag 12 teams, the number of WNBA teams, and then this is the one that really, hashtag the W is more than one player. The WNBA is more than one player. Someone else on X under the post said, is there a reason why it's not being shown? A second person said, because they only care about Caitlin. To which part Cheryl Reeve replied, "That part." Wow. USA Today Sports has made multiple requests for comment from Reeve through a U.S. basketball spokesperson over the last 4 days. Cheryl told me she would not be commenting. The spokesperson, Michael Terry, wrote in a text to USA Today Sports. When asked what Reeve's role was in the selection of the Olympic team, Terry replied, "She does not have an official role in picking the 12, but Reeve is involved in the run-up to the Olympics, including gathering information on players and phone calls and also speaking at Team USA Media Summit in mid-April in New York. The roster is selected by a committee as per the selection procedures. The coach is responsible for outlining on-court principles, style of play, which can be considered by the committee. So the coach says, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. Go get me the players. Additionally, the coach is responsible for the instruction at USA basketball camps, exhibitions, and competition. USA Today Sports also asked for comment from USA Basketball on the appropriateness of Reeve's ex post regarding Clark, coming as they did during the Olympic team selection process. Interesting. Terry said the national governing body would not have a comment. You cowards. By the way, Caitlin Clark was the WNBA Rookie of the Month. Not of the week, not of the day, but of the entire month. Coming off one of the most historic seasons anybody's ever seen. Actually, the most historic season anybody's ever seen in college basketball. And 2 straight fantastic seasons by Clark. All right, Shaq, he voiced some things about the WNBA stars, and he believes there is jealousy playing a role with Caitlin Clark. So this is what he said. Caitlin Clark is the victim of, quote, professional jealousy in her WNBA debut season, according to Shaquille O'Neal. As well as losing 10 of her first 13 games, the Fever rookie has been subjected to brutal treatment on the court from rival players, with Chicago Sky's Kennedy Carter sparking outrage by body-checking her earlier this month. Some people called it an assault. You know. The shocking moment has even sparked debate around race and sexuality, with late-night host Bill Maher recently claiming she is only being targeted by WNBA rivals because she's white and heterosexual. Jason Whitlock has said that multiple times as well. Amid the controversy, O'Neal has weighed in on Clark and why opposition players are making a beeline for her. So I think where people get upset as a player is you don't want to be forgotten. He said on the big podcast with Shaq, you know what I call it? I call it stealing props. It's professional jealousy. I think people should focus more on not just her, because she is a great player, but don't forget about the beautiful Cardosa and my girl Angel. Clark is bringing more eyeballs to the women's sports than ever, with her record-breaking success in college making her the WNBA's biggest attraction upon arrival. Goes on to talk about her accolades. But he would add, let's make something clear. One person may have all the props, but it's never one person. And I don't know what the need is for somebody like Shaq to have to include the last part, because the numbers just don't support that. They haven't. Okay? If you want to give Angel Reese some props, okay, she's added 1,000 people to the attendance in Chicago. Whereas Caitlin Clark has sold out every game that she has played in, basically, including a 17-year high in Washington at 20,333 people. And then I believe she saw they had 19,000 in Seattle, 18,000 plus in New York. I mean, if you want to compare Reese and Caitlin Clark, it's like double the attendance, if not more in some cases. 2.5 times the attendance. I think it's odd. I do believe professional jealousy is part of it, like we've talked about these other players can't move the needle the way that Caitlin Clark is, and they're pissed because they've been in the league forever, and they thought they were going to be the WNBA savior, and it didn't happen. So they're pissed. I do think her being white and straight plays a massive role in it too. I mean, it's an activist league. You know, so I do think professional jealousy is part of the animosity, sure. But I disagree with Shaq. These other rookies aren't doing nothing. I brought it up earlier. Cameron Brent has caused a bigger attendance spike for her team than Angel Reese has for the Chicago Sky. I mean, it's like, I'm going to be honest with you, somebody like Shaq, but I got to make sure I throw in these other names or they'll cancel me online and everybody will get pissed. Stop it. It's one person. I don't know why we can't just be honest about it. The media has really tried to do their best to throw these other rookies in. Well, that's all you're doing is throwing them in. They ain't doing shit. I mean, you know, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, jeez, it's unbelievable. Nah, it's one person. Period. Attendance reflects that. Ratings reflect that. What else is there to measure? Jersey sales. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't get it. But, yeah, he is right to a point without the gaslighting and covering his ass by trying to throw everybody else in there. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.